Wolverine fans, I got something for you. I got a bit of a Sophie's choice. This is how we're going to start the day before I get on to the feckless media. If you're a Michigan fan, you have two choices. Now, you can either come to my side of things and you can kiss my Italian ass with both lips passionately and say, Mike, you were right. It ain't real. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This doesn't count. Or you told me it was real. You lambasted me that it was real. You basically told me go throw myself off a bridge and kill myself. It's real, right? You had lots of nice things to say over the last week. Well, if it's real, then I invite you to open your mouth, slide your tongue to the side, and let me gently slide this L right in your mouth. Let me just hold on. Stay right there. If you're really nice, I'll put it right down your throat. Here's a big L for you, all buttered up. Get it all up in your mouth. You just went out and lost to a coach who had no offseason. You just went out and lost to a coach who barely knows the players of his team. You just went out and lost to a guy who literally has a 3-year rebuild ahead of him. And you're the ones who invited this now, okay? And I'll tell you why. Thank you, Coach. I am more on him, but here's the problem in all of this, right? You know why you believe this season was real? I'll tell you why.
I think I know.
Because of the low-rent propaganda media. I mean, it's a bought and paid for media that maybe is stronger here or anywhere outside of the Kremlin in Moscow. I mean, we are dealing with a level of dishonesty, both locally and nationally with media, that I don't know that there's a comparison to. The New England Patriots aren't treated with such reverence in Boston as the Michigan Wolverines are. I turned on that television, Ricardo, and I saw Reggie Bush. I saw these words leave his mouth. I think they can beat Ohio State, Coach. I had to slow it down.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Because you did what? Beat a bad Minnesota team, missing half of its players? Oh, right, I tried to tell you, but you told me I was a Sparty. Then I had Charles Woodson, who was dressed up like a low-rent jazz singer. Oh, we're going to do this. We can do that. Us. We're going to win a lot of games. All right, Chuck. Nice ascot. And it goes into a broadcast with Joel Klatt, who we called Joe out on Thursday. Joel, you got to stop with this routine, man. You're enjoying that Harbaugh gobstopper a little too much. Joe Milton. He's a combination of Cam Newton and Christ. Joe Milton. He's got a golden penis. Joe Milton can throw a ball through space. Too bad he doesn't know where it's going over 10 yards. But that's okay. Joel Klatt still hopped on that broadcast, and like the cello player on the Titanic playing Old Lang Syne, he went down with the ship. Hey, I think they should review this. Hey, they should call it both ways. He didn't even know the rules at the end of the game, Rico.
No, he
didn't
didn't.
even know that Michigan had a fourth timeout because of some phony equipment stoppage. The whole thing is this. You as fans have to be better. You got to stop falling for this crap. And look, it's happening locally, nationally. It happens with certain people in my building, okay? Let's just be real. Jim Harbaugh shouldn't be the football coach here. I don't care about relationships. I don't care about being friends with anybody. I don't care if somebody knows my name. I don't care if they burn me in effigy. It doesn't matter. I have a job to do. My job is to tell you my opinion. My opinion based on a preponderance of evidence is your coach is a bum. Your coach is an overrated mess.
Yeah.
And the best part is the media has you terrified of getting rid of him.
Well, Mike,
because they fell for the fake.
Here's the thing. If you watch the media, if you watch the pregame show, if you watch the game, if you followed the halftime show, even the post-game show, at no point did they sit there and just say, guys, you know what? Mel Tucker really had a great game plan. It was all, well, Michigan needs to do. Halftime was a 4-minute pep talk of how Michigan has to get better. Yeah. Yeah. That's that was just a snippet, Mike. That was just a snippet. No. Play the other one. Play the last one because this is the funniest one. Play that one.
They can't, Brady. Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
2 blindside block calls that were nonsense. A made-up clipping call down at the goal line when the D lineman's not engaged and he gets cut.
And a mystery timeout at the end.
And by the way, Joel Klatt, who basically changes Harbaugh's underwear for him, Joel Klatt even acknowledged Michigan's known as being the most handsy team in the Big Ten, which you are. Here's my point. To bring this full circle, 248-539-9797. The point I want to make to you is this. When you look around right now, Michigan fan, how come no one locally is calling for Harbaugh's head? How come no one locally is saying Don Brown should be fired? How come we can't get any of that? I listened to almost 8 hours of radio today. How come I have to hear coded language? How come I have to wait for that? Where's Wojo with that piece? Still waiting for more evidence, Bob? What do you need? The body? Like, seriously, Don Brown in the biggest games does the same thing every time. And he gets torched.
It is wash, rinse, repeat. You're right.
Nothing changes, Rico. Nothing.
And when you looked, I didn't realize that they're 1-5 at the Big House against Michigan State and Ohio State. What are you doing? What's the game plan? But, Mike, you're not going to hear anything because you can't call out Harbaugh because I don't know if you know this or not, Mike. If you get rid of Jim Harbaugh, who else can you get?
I'll tell you right now. Well, Mel Tucker, for one. I mean, Jesus. Guy's making half the money, and he just beats your ass with a ragtag group that he got inherited from D'Antonio.
Think about that,
I mean,
Mike.
what are we even talking about?
He's 4.5 weeks into working an offense. And it really wasn't this elaborate scheme that they came up with. It truly was Rocky Lombardi in the huddle. Hey, Ricky, go deep. Go past the Buick to the fire hydrant and then make a cut. And I'm going to throw you the ball. That was the game plan. Tecmo Bowl has more difficult plays than the plays that Michigan State had to run on Saturday.
Well, and again, we have more football stuff we can get into. I don't want you to think that it's not. Oh, well, you're not normal. How come you're not yelling and screaming? Well, first of all, I already told you. I mean, I could watch 2 neighborhood children play marbles, and if one had an MSU shirt on and one had a Michigan shirt on, I'd be rooting for the kid in green and white, even if the kid in green and white was an insufferable douche. I hate Michigan. I hate everything about you. I hate the school. I hate a great number of your fans, and your media are amongst the worst and most dishonest people on the planet. I've seen Kremlin reporters with more dignity. So believe me, it's fun to beat you. Rico and I are just sitting in a couple of lawn chairs watching the world burn from a good, safe distance. This is exciting for us. Your tears? I mean, that's lube for the soul.
Tastes good with that Manhattan and the cherry, Mike, with a little bit of
Rico,
Wolverine
I'm proud
tears.
of you. I'm proud of you. Brother, I told you, a little bit of that holy sacrament just takes the edge off. And sure, we toasted a drink, but we didn't go running down the street naked with our dingalings in the breeze, because Rico and I are adults. But I know what you guys were going to do, and I know what the Michigan media was trying to do. You were trying to get yourself a little pandemic title. That's right. Just like you did in 1918. You were going to try to play 4 or 5 games, get a couple canceled, get a couple of tough games turned into rollovers because the other teams got COVID. Hell, you were probably secretly deep in your bowels hoping Ohio State lost their whole damn team to COVID. You don't play the game and you got to go to Indy. Because let's face it, you can't get there any other way. Your coach is a failure. And the problem is, these dishonest losers sell you the narrative. You buy into it, and you've created this world that is total delusion. And now you're faced with two choices. Keep believing the lie, knowing it isn't true because it's more comfortable than possible re-entry into society and reality, because the reality is scary as all hell. You are not with Ohio State. No. You are not an elite program. You are not winning anything. You are no one. You are nothing. You are Al Bundy wearing a Polk High varsity jacket, talking about his 3-touchdown game to Peg while she's asleep. That's what you are. It's almost 2 decades and counting. You've paid over $50 million to a man who largely looks disinterested in even being there. He employs people that I'm not even sure like being there. And then the best part is, when it comes time to do actual coach things, Harbaugh's delegated to a point where I don't know if he has influence on either side of the ball. He's not holding the play sheet anymore. That's Gaddis. And Don Brown would probably tell him to F himself if he talked about defense. So what is it he does except for attempting to stuff a microphone underneath a mask and looking like a bird?
Good news.
Oh, but you got to have room for that big ball of chaw in your mouth, don't you, Jim?
Oh, yeah. Good news, Wolverine fans, is that you will drive past Indianapolis to go play Indiana this week, so at least you can wave, because you're never going to play in Lucas Oil, at least not this year. Death,
I thank God every day.
And no Indy.
I thank God every day I am not a Michigan fan, because the mental delusion of some of these people, all right, you wanted it to be real? Slide that L right on in, wherever it fits for you. Let's have a conversation. You know I've said Harbaugh should be gone for 2 years. You think I'm going to say anything else? We'll break down the state game. We'll give you the MSU side of it, give you the Michigan side of it. And by the way, for all of you home Steven Spielbergs out there, man, weird. Rico didn't send me any celebration videos of you watching the Lions this week. We'll get to those idiots later in the show.